Levisham Station has achieved fame in recent years by appearing in various period television series, including Brideshead Revisited and All Creatures Great and Small. This section of the line is still fairly remote from human habitation. To get from Levisham Station to Levisham Village involves a 1.5 mile trek up a narrow and steep country lane. Pickering is the headquarters of the North Yorkshire Moors Railway and the southern terminus of the line. Its architecture is unremarkable, but it offers good facilities for today's visitors, including a refreshment room and the inevitable souvenir shop. The largest collection of railway locomotives is in the northeast at the excellent National Railway Museum at York. Many engines here have considerable historic significance and are tastefully displayed in a building that was once part of York Steam Depot. Household names like Mallard and Duchess of Hamilton are stablemates in the museum's Great Hall. LNER A4 Pacific Mallard holds the world speed record for steam traction, which still stands, 126 miles per hour. Duchess of Hamilton, from the rival LMS company, once visited the USA on a publicity mission in the 1930s, bearing the identity of her sister engine, Coronation Scott. Here are engines from the very dawn of railways to modern diesels and electrics, themselves now replaced by even more up-to-date rail traction. There are coaches and goods vehicles, from early coal wagons to a Victorian royal saloon. Of course, most of the exhibits are static and not in operable order, but it's an awesome collection nevertheless. And it's not just locos and rolling stock. Track diagrams, furniture, dining car cutlery, waiting room paintings. You name it, if it has any railway relationship, the NRM has it. So great is the size of the National Collection that as well as the main hall, there's the newly reopened annex across the road, and even a new offshoot museum in Shildon, County Durham, home of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. Signalling equipment, usually out of sight, protecting passengers' safety, is a source of real interest. Wrongly thought by many to be the world's first train, Stephenson's rocket is the name normally associated with very early engines. This working replica has delighted thousands throughout the land. Engineer George Stephenson had already built engines for use on colliery wagonways in the northeast, when the fledgling Liverpool and Manchester Railway offered £500 for a loco which could operate the line. The Rainhill trials were held in 1830 to find a suitable engine. Stephenson entered Rocket and won convincingly. The success of Rocket and the Liverpool and Manchester line signalled to Europe that railways were here to stay and springboarded the start of railway development. One of the National Collection's operable engines is 1903 built Great Western 440 City of Truro. The engine claims to be the first ever engine to have achieved 100 miles per hour in 1904 while working a boat express to Plymouth. Volumes have been written about the validity or otherwise of this claim, but the engine certainly wasn't dawdling. Another operable machine is perhaps the most famous of them all, Flying Scotsman. After a much publicised rescue from a possible sail abroad, the engine got its hero's welcome on its homecoming. The North East's fame as the birthplace of freight railways lives on, with many heavy freight flows surviving, as well as some new ones. For the last 25 years, several trains a day of potash have graced the scenic freight branch from Bulby to Teesside. On a typical weekday, there are up to 11 trains from Bulby, each carrying a payload of up to 1,000 tonnes. The railway's market share is impressively high, at more than 90%. The freight-only branch from Saltburn to Bulby was relaid in the 1970s. Previously, it had formed part of the highly scenic coastline from Saltburn to Whitby, closed as a through route as long ago as 1958. The potash trains from Bulby all run to Tees Dock, where about half the tonnage is exported to Europe, mainly France and Scandinavia, while the rest is distributed by road throughout the UK. The salt trains run mainly to the Cobra distribution terminal at Middlesbrough. Both potash and salt trains have benefited from new rolling stock in the last few years. All the wagons in use today are bogie vehicles, with a gross weight of around 100 tonnes, either owned or leased by Cleveland Potash. Steel traffic on Teesside includes this daily working to and from the Chorus Special Steels plant at Skinnon Grove. The main Chorus complex, between Redcar and Middlesbrough, known in railway circles as Lackenby, produces up to 8 trains a day, mainly carrying slab to other steelworks, such as DL, Workington and Flower. Although this service to Felixstowe looks well loaded, the total rail throughput at Wilton is low, and Freightliner has considered closing down the terminal and serving Teesside by road from Leeds instead.